And welcome back is the week of Who Would Wins. And as always, when I start the week of Who Would Wins, I do the first Who Would Win of the week as one of the monthly Who Would Wins, one of the themed Who Would Wins. And the theme is, if you've ever played the game, the card game Magic the Gathering, brief history, there are characters known as Planeswalkers. In the world, there's a vast history of lore, stories, characters in the game of Magic the Gathering. Basically an infinite amount of worlds, and people can traverse through these worlds, or planes. Are called planeswalkers, usually stronger than your average character, so forth and so on. And we're starting to actually really run down the list of planeswalkers. We actually don't have a huge amount of them left. I mean, we still got enough that I'll be able to do a couple more months worth of it, but we are starting to run the gamut here of them. So this next planeswalker we have here is known as Nixilis. Nixilis was a human. You'll notice that his picture is humanoid, but it's a demon-looking kind of character. Was a human, but kind of sold his soul to demons for more power, and ultimately turned into a demon himself. And for a while, he actually couldn't be a planeswalker. He was stuck on the plane that he was trapped on a plane known as Zendikar, because there are certain races of individuals that cannot actually be planeswalkers, cannot have the spark or use their spark as planeswalkers. Anything that's an elemental that's not sentient. Anything that is pretty much of like a divine or demonic nature. Spirits cannot have planeswalker sparks, technically speaking. There might be some exceptions, and like inorganic are like robot individuals, with the exception if you were to put a spark inside them and allow them to planeswalk. But Nixilis came from an unknown plane. We don't know where he came from. He was a conqueror tyrant, found a demon contract, walked among the world was destroyed, walked among his spark ignited. Now, he is a brilliant tactician, wizard, and warrior. He wields magic that acts like anti-life magic, contrasting other forms of death magic like necromancy. With it, he can weaken his enemies and erode solid matter, and even consume the life energy of other beings, increasing his own power. Essentially, he's a very nihilistic character in that sense. So his powers can include erosion, just decay, absorbing life, necromancy, pain-inducing magic. Anything that is anti-life, anti-good, more or less, is something he can do. So I'm like, who can I put up against this guy? And I thought, he just fits so many tropes for characters to put up against people. Let's throw Alucard back in the mix. We've had Alucard on. Alucard might be one of the characters I've had the most on this series. Alucard is Dracula. He's around. Actually, how old is he? He's around 1,000 years old. I want to say, isn't he? That's a good question. How old is Alucard? I think I picked up. It's over half a millennia old. I know that. He's probably way older than that. Alucard. 1 second here. Alucard. There we go. Alucard in Hellsing. How old is he? Alucard Hellsing. Let's see, age. There we go. I mean, he's only about actually, yeah, so he's around at the end. We're not going to use, by the way, Alucard as he is at the end of the series, because that's just god tier kind of shit. He's around 582 years old, give or take. Give or take, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, he's around 568 years old at that, somewhere in that neighborhood. Ultimately, yeah, so he's been around a while. And obviously being a vampire, he has all the abilities that would be tailor-made or that come with being vampiric in nature, having accelerated healing, which we'll get into that. That's one of his biggest traits. Strength, speed, endurance. He can hypnotize people. He's got great aim with both Ebony and Ivory, I think they're called. No, the Jackal. Ebony and Ivory is Dante. The Jackal, and I can't remember the other one. One has explosive round designed to hurt regenerators, like Alexander Anderson. The other just has standard, like, silver bullets. Alucard has centuries worth of combat experience, collecting souls over the battlefield, consuming, gaining knowledge. He does ultimately, though, long for death, so it is a little counterintuitive. Obviously, one of the things is hashtag life hacks. Essentially, how it's never fully confirmed this is how it works, But it is more or less stated, it is generally implied his abilities work that he has consumed over around 2 million souls by the time he goes to restraint level 0, releases them all for fighting, and goes back to his original form. That whenever he's like takes damage, or whenever he takes mortal damage, he basically just uses one of the souls instead of his own to take the hit for him. And that basically gives him a functioning version of immortality. However, when he releases all those souls, when he goes to release restraint level 0, he reveals his true form. Well, he is technically at his strongest form, like in terms of combat and all that stuff. He's also at his most vulnerable because his soul is exposed. He does have several levels of restraint, release restraint level 1, 2, and 3, and where he gets that Gimp outfit. Shoot the Gimp! Gimp outfit, a lot stronger in that form. He also has the Hounds, obviously. And ultimately, he's incredibly powerful and versatile, but not invincible. It's stated he can be killed. Only a man can kill a monster. Only a man can kill a monster. That was trying to do a combination of the abridged version. So yeah, he's a battle-hardy warrior, battle-worn, been around for centuries and sick of immortality, really. He says there's no true thing as a true immortal, but he's a functioning immortal. So, I mean, put these guys against here. Let's say Ob Nixilis planeswalks over to Alucard's universe. Let's say prior to the events of what actually went down. And they're square. The Helsing organization gets word of this demonic-like figure. Alucard goes to confront him, and they talk. And at first, they'd actually have a conversation, because I feel they'd sense kindred spirits in each other in some ways. Particularly in Ob Nixilis' case, it's like, this is some guy who I can tell is just as nihilistic as I am, doesn't give a shit about life anymore. It's like we could be partners. We could just say, yeah, no, unfortunately, I have to work for my boss, and she's a woman, so you know how bitches be. Bye. And just shoots him with the heavy duty stuff, and it does hurt. It's like, fine then. And then, they go at it. So he's firing like death magic at him. Alucard's able to avoid that, but he sees that this guy is different than other guys I have to fight. I gotta have to be careful. He's firing off shots at Ob Nixilis. Ob Nixilis is just like putting up like death shields, eroding. Finally, he fires enough magic to just erode his guns away. Just, oh, I like these. And then release restraint level 1, 2, level 3, 2, and 1. Then he gets in the Gimp form, then just charges at him with the Hounds. Hounds grab on the Ob Nixilis. He's just gets dragged through the ground. Basically just uses his ability to absorb life energy, though. And there's still life energy in them, mind you. So he's like absorbing the energy of the Hounds growing stronger. Alucard comes in, though, and just boom! Just smacks him straight, clocks him. He goes flying, opens his wings up, charges again. They're going toe-to-toe for a while. Just bang, bang, back and forth. Any damage he sees to do to Alucard just heals. And he's just wondering how the hell he's doing that. So he's able to grab on Alucard, starts absorbing the energy in him, and he's realizing he's absorbing a lot of souls. And Alucard's realizing that too. And he quickly contacts Integra through vampire telepathy, because he has that. And he says, I need your permission, master. And then ultimately, yeah, she's like, she sees the situation, or gets an idea of the situation. It's like, you have my person. Release restraint level 0. And then, when all is gone, when hope is all is gone, and hope is lost. Wait, when hope is gone. Oh no! Oh, how did he say it in the abridged version? When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on the moonlit walk. And then he releases the souls, which if you've ever seen the anime and even the manga, it's basically a flood of just demonic energy and blood and everything. So yeah, a lot. It's just Ob Nixilis has to get the hell out of there. Just flies. Just witnessing what the hell is going on. Now that being said, he collected maybe a couple thousand souls as he was holding on to him, so he's got a lot of extra power in him now. It's so good. But then he's like, oh, this is not good. It's like, okay, this is bad. So he's being swarmed by a bunch of soldiers throwing spears at him, arrows. He's he's vaporizing as many as he can with them, using pain magic, which doesn't affect them at all. He's getting skewered and speared, but ultimately he's generally still standing and overall okay. Then Alucard comes in, or Dracula of Wallachia, and then comes in, slices that, cuts one of his arms because he's just not expecting it, and his wings, so he's crippled at that point, so he can't fly. And it's like, ah! And then just he grabs the sword again. Now he's prepared for it. Just ting, and then he's just, and they're just staring each other down. Then he tries to induce pain magic on Alucard, but Alucard's been dealing with pain for over almost 600 years now. Pain magic's not going to work on Alucard. So just, so he's just holding the sword, coming in. He's trying to grow his arm back a little bit with some, magic. It's kind of like just a haphazard, like a hatchet job here. He can't really. It's not a really good arm, but it's enough that he can at least throw a punch. Grabs at Alucard, who then just releases the sword, just kicks him straight in the face, and then right as he's about, he grabs Alucard's sword, about to come into a giant swarm of Alucard's minions come at Nixilis, who's just slicing him away, but they're just starting to swarm, and then they get the sword at hand. Alucard comes in and grabs the sword, and then just brings it right down at Ob's head. And then it's like, oh, you are a worthy opponent. And then just slices it straight out, and then Ob just falls down dead. Why does Ob Nixilis win this fight? Well, here's the thing. Why does Alucard win this fight over Ob Nixilis? I'll say this. It's not a big margin. It's a pretty close fight, actually. Because Ob is a warlord. He's had many a year. It's actually not known how old he is. Let me hold on, see if I can get age on him here. But, I mean, he's probably a couple hundred years old, at least. Let's see here if they give an age on him at all. Lifetime. Nope. It's unknown how long he's been around. But was a human tyrant, became this. So let's see here. Warlord eventually. Yeah, no, unfortunately, it never says how old he actually is. But he's a warlord, a tactician, so he's been on the battlefield for God knows how long. But so is Alucard. And without knowing how old he actually is, I'd wager to guess he's a couple hundred years old. At best, let's say he is as old as Alucard. They both have enough experience on the battlefield that would probably counteract each other. I might argue that Ob has a bit more experience. However, Alucard's regeneration and soul collecting and all that would definitely would drag the fight out too long for Ob to ultimately do anything of real damage. The only time you'll be able to really do damage to Alucard is once he releases restraint level 0. That's the only time he'll really be able to do damage to Alucard. And unfortunately, he just doesn't have he could start wasting people, absolutely, but he still would have to be able to take out all of the minions, because Alucard can command them at will, so they'll swarm Ob and give Alucard more than enough time to actually get killing blows on him. But that said, as soon as Alucard becomes exposed, all Ob has to really do is get some really well-placed shot in on Alucard, and yeah, he'd ultimately win, absolutely. But I do think that, unfortunately for Ob in this case, and that's his name, Ob, it would be Alucard who wins the fight the majority of the time. But I'm only going to go about 55-45 on that. No, excuse me, 50, yeah, 60-40, that's what I was. I'll say 60-40. I think there is a solid chance that Ob could just overall overpower Alucard in his vulnerable form and take the fight. But what do you think? Do you think Ob Nixilis, from how I've described him, and if you know about him, would actually win the fight more, or do you think Alucard does still take the fight? Let me know. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, what if, anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. So I'll be back maybe later today with another video. If not, I'll definitely be back tomorrow with more Who Would Wins and a couple other videos. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.